This is the 17th season of Bass Talk Live with your hosts, Mark Jeffries and Matt Pingrack. BTL is brought to you by Lawrence, Bass Cat Boats, APCO, Ducket Fishing, Strike King Lures, Sunline, Big Bite Baits, Spro, Exo Lures, Yamagatsu, The Bass Tank, and Denali Rods. BTL coming at you. Good Tuesday, everybody. Welcome once again to another edition of BTL Bass Talk Live, where Matt and I are going to talk bass fishing and anything else that we want to talk about. Look, we are in studio. What is going on, Matthew?
It's a nice looking studio. It's good to see it. I always wondered where this show was done and produced, and it's very nice here. Did you get a new intro during the ice storm?
I did. I goofed around a little bit, had some fun. I got good feedback on it, and my mic's going to fall down. That's not good. You need to fix it here? Is there a way do you need me to come over and assist you? We'll go with that right there.
Okay.
So, no, it's good to have you back here in person.
For a day.
For one day, and then you hit the road.
Hopefully a day.
And then you hit the road.
Hopefully.
And we will see what happens when the open season kicks off. So a lot to talk about today. I want to set everything up for this week. And then we'll get into a little bit about what happened to me yesterday, which was very cool. And I've actually got a picture that I'm going to show. So we'll get into that. All right, today we're just going to kind of catch up on stuff. It's good to have Matt back in studio. We're going to have our friend Joe Pogge on from Major League Fishing, talk a little bit about the Redcrest. Then tomorrow, folks, if you want to take part in this, just shoot me an email, mark@basszone.com. We're going to have Dean Rojas on for 90 minutes as we have the MLF Redcrest watch party with Dean Rojas, and he's going to kind of break down the action on the live stream. You're not going to miss any of the action. We will be live streaming from the Major League Fishing website during BTL for that 90 minutes. But the cool thing is you can interact with Dean. You can ask him questions, and he's going to try and break down some of the tough fishing and some of the really good fishing that we'll talk about here in a few minutes that's taking place on Lake Eufaula in Alabama. Then on Wednesday, a special show. All right, Matt and Bradley Hallman are going to be somewhere in Atlanta, Georgia.
Hopefully.
All right, to do breakfast with Matt and Brad live from the Spro headquarters.
Allegedly. If you notice, I keep putting qualifiers here. The preparation has not gone as planned so far, Mark.
Yeah. So that's the plan right now. All right, breakfast with Matt and Brad. We'll talk about their journey so far and talk about some of the stuff that's going on there. Then at 8:30 a.m. Central Time, we'll have our normal Day 4 show with Frank Scalish immediately following breakfast with Matt and Brad on Thursday. Then on Friday, we're back with Frank Scalish to do the Elite Series watch party with Frank Scalish from Knoxville.
You're the Iron Man of the fishing live streaming now, Jeffries.
Ain't nobody coming close on this.
Putting a music show in there.
Well, we tried to do it, but obviously the stuff that happened down in Texas with KJ and stuff like that. All right. Then we take a day off on Saturday. Then on Sunday, we're going to have the Elite Series postgame show at 7 o'clock in the evening.
From
Knoxville.
From Knoxville, yeah. That's a very interesting tournament that's shaping up there, too.
Yeah. So a very, very busy week. So, folks, the important thing right now is if you want to take part in either one of the watch parties that we're going to have this week, all right, the MLF watch party on Redcrest with Dean Rojas tomorrow, or the Elite Series watch party with Frank Scalish on Friday from Knoxville, please shoot me an email, mark@basszone.com, and I will send you the video link, and anybody and everybody out there can take part in the watch party. I know it's been a while since we've had Dean on, so we'll catch up on a few things with Dino on Wednesday. All right, a couple other things right here, folks. Let's see. I got way too many papers here. I have my 2 Visa gift cards that are going in the mail.
Okay.
All right. Today I was able, obviously, to get out and get those. So Alex and Josh, your $100 Visa gift cards are on the way. I'll get those mailed out either this afternoon or first thing in the morning. The second thing, today I'm going to announce the winner of the Marshall contest that we had, where I'm going to cover 2 Marshall's entry fees, around $100 each. And once you go out and once you do the Marshall experience, then you're going to come on BTL and you're going to talk to us and you're going to tell us what the experience was like. All right, so I'm getting ready to announce. If I call your name out, shoot me an email, mark@bassone.com, and I'll touch base with you. Make sure you put your phone number in there. I'll give you a call, and I will get you a check, and then we will make arrangements when you can come on the show and talk about your marshalling experience. So the first winner is from Nashville, Tennessee. His name is Nathan Reynolds.
There you go.
Okay.
Mark@bassone.com. Just shoot him an email. Be like, hey, I'm Nathan Reynolds.
Nathan Reynolds. And he's a high school angler.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to get a 16-year-old's take on what goes down. And he had some very good reasons on why he wanted to come on the show and why he wanted to take part in the marshalling experience. All right. The next one is Scott Jones from Alabaster, Alabama. That's a mouthful.
I think I've driven through there before.
Alabaster?
Yeah.
All right. So the thing that got him over the top is he had a little PS in there. It says, P.S. I'm opposed to advertising logos on football helmets. So kudos to you right there.
So did you see the email that was like, has Mark ever seen European professional hockey?
Yeah. I get it. I don't even want to get into that. All right. So those are our winners. Those 2 gentlemen, please shoot me an email, mark@bassone.com. Nathan Reynolds and Scott Jones. That's our 2 Marshall winners. And looking forward to having you on the show and talking about the marshalling experience. All right. Next subject. Dude, I'm going to throw this picture up.
Okay.
All right.
Are you in there somewhere?
That was me yesterday. No, I stopped and I took a picture.
Everyone's 6 feet apart. You got your second shot yesterday.
No, I got the first one.
Oh, you got the first one.
Yeah, yesterday was the first day here in Oklahoma that educators were allowed to go in and sign up in weeks prior and then actually be on location for the first round of the COVID-19 vaccines.
Where do they give it to you? Right in the butt?
In the arm.
Oh, in the arm.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's kind of weird. They have these little round Band-Aids.
Oh, yeah, I guess everyone's getting their shot right there. That'd be an awkward scenario if it was in the cheek.
Might be called something different there.
My bad. There's a bunch of people getting their shots at the same time. Mixed company there. So that was a stupid question.
The reason that I wanted to show this photo is I'll give you one guess. There was a group that this lab, all right, the lab that's giving all of the vaccines, there was a group that was consulted prior to doing this. Now, let me say this first. They ran almost 5,000 people through this facility yesterday.
Wow.
Who do you think that group was that they consulted with?
Some sports group?
No. I thought you'd get this one,
the
Matthew.
DMV?
No. Heavens no.
I don't know who.
You're not thinking, man.
No, I'm not.
Who is efficient? Who is probably one of the most efficient operations in the United States of America?
I'm at a loss.
Oh, my gosh.
The most efficient
operation.
I have no idea.
Let's see. I'm trying to see if any of the folks out there on the instant feedback
that they called in to run the educators coming through.
Dave got it. Our longtime viewer listener. Chick-fil-A.
So Chick-fil-A ran... They sponsored it, or those are Chick-fil-A workers giving you the shot?
They consulted with Chick-fil-A.
Oh, because there was someone that was like, we can't get these people the shots, and then they take a lunch break, and they're like, holy cow, we just fit 1,000 people through Chick-fil-A in 5 minutes. So they called Chick-fil-A and was like, how does this work?
Exactly. And Matt, I'm telling you, it was probably... Well, it was. It was just like going through the drive-thru at Chick-fil-A.
Well, very cool.
They were kind. They were nice. It was efficient. It was unbelievable how this process worked here in Oklahoma.
Very cool.
And they had the little pads,
Yeah.
When's the last time you've been through the drive-thru at Chick-fil-A? They have the little iPad-looking things. Yeah. That's what they had. I mean, you walk through.
You roll in, and they say,
"Hey." The only time I had to wait. The only time I had to wait was after I got my shot for 15 minutes. They made you sit in those chairs
to make sure
that everything was okay.
Good deal.
Yeah. So very, very, very thankful that I was able to get the vaccine. I get my second round here in 3 weeks, and no after effects. I know some people have said, hey, I've had a massive headache. I felt a little nauseous. My arm was sore. Zero, dude. I told Carolyn, I said, the reason that is because there's so many drugs in my system already. They're all just working together in some concoction of formula to make sure that I'm not in.
I think I heard that exact line in an episode of Behind the Music.
Might have. So very, very thankful to get the vaccine and go on down the road. All right, the last thing that I want to mention, tonight's a big night for us. My basketball team, playoffs open tonight. The opening round, district play starts tonight. And over the next 2 weeks, we're going to see if all the work pays off, Matthew. It's kind of like your prep work and everything that you're doing for the Opens. Well, we're going to find out what we're made of over the next 2 weeks.
We were talking off air. You said tonight's just to execute the game plan, go out, put your head down, work, and if everyone does their job, you should be good to go. When you, I guess you can't look past anybody at all.
You can't
when you're in the playoffs.
But you have to plan.
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking at game film. You're doing all kinds
what
of stuff.
seed did you end up getting?
I think we were like the 4 seed.
What was your final ranking? Because I know you were upset. We never actually went into that.
Yeah, 12th.
Boy, I feel like with the teams that you beat, did you have a couple sloppy losses?
No. We finished second in the toughest conference in Oklahoma. But the way that it works, and I
you happy with the 4 seed though?
No, we got ripped off. Yeah.
Not happy with it?
No.
Oh, well, you just go out.
But it is what it is.
Hey, if you're going to win any championship, you got to go through the best guys eventually. So at some point.
2 teams out of every bracket make it to state.
Yeah.
There's 8 teams that make it to state. So we'll see. We're going to make a run. The kids, we went 16-5 and having really, really good practice. When your prep work up to that first fishing tournament of the season, the effort that's put in, the preparation, and then you go out and that first tournament, if you perform well, it kind of sets the tone.
Right.
Agreed?
Yeah. So I know last time that you were playing the top-tiered team in the state, you had a lot of BTL viewers who actually watched the live stream of that. Is there a live stream?
There is not a live stream.
There's not a live stream of this.
Derby? If you want to pay for it.
Oh, no.
It's stupid because they signed a deal, the organization signed a deal with the NFHS, of which you have to.
How much?
I think it's like $30 for the whole tournament. It's ridiculous, man. So anyway,
stinks.
No live stream.
Yeah.
But I'm sure everybody will find out on the show what's going on. And then the last thing, and then we'll move on to talk about Mr. Brian Thrift and what he has going on Lake Eufaula and Odd Defo. The last thing is next week. All right, everybody look for the schedule. We're going to have some guest hosts next week. I know Ken Duke's going to jump on here for a day or two. And then I'm working on some other guest hosts. And then obviously we will check in with Matt and see what his adventure is like next week. Your tournament starts on Wednesday or Thursday?
Next Thursday.
All right. So I'm sure on Wednesday of next week we'll check in with Matt and see how his practice went and see how things are going there. All right, man. Redcrest, as I mentioned, we're going to have Joe Pogge on here shortly, but you watched a little bit of the action yesterday. Let me say this first. It was weird. We have 2 events going on at the same time.
Not technically. They're practicing for the Elite Series.
I get it.
Redcrest actually started yesterday.
I get it, but to me, I guess since I covered it and since we did the documentary on it, it was weird saying Knoxville and not seeing a correlation with Ott Defo. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. I'm not going to lie. I was watching Takahiro fish yesterday live, but I had been following the Elite Series practice, and the water temperatures looked the same, and I was like, oh, he's going to catch a smallmouth there. because he was fishing a dock, and then I realized, no, they're on Eufaula, and I got him confused. But let me say this. So this is a definite challenge for them. So obviously, because of the weather down in Texas, they only got 1 day of practice on Eufaula. I think all these guys had been at Eufaula for the stop before. A lot of these guys have fished Eufaula off and on. It is claimed the big bass capital of the world. So a lot of tournaments, local tournaments. It's just seemed like the last couple of years that Eufaula has really exploded as far as a national scene tournaments. Would you not agree?
Yeah. But it's been that way. Historically,
100% it has been, but it's definitely on the uptick. So, I mean, you go into this with 1 day of practice. These guys thought it was down in Texas, so it's pretty much a blank slate. But a lot of them have a lot of juice from the last time they were there.
Yeah.
And then you go out and you see what Brian Thrift did with over 40 pounds, and he ended up practicing the last period and because of the way that the weight zero after day 2. But, like, just to put it in perspective, like, it is not easy out there. So the bottom 20 anglers, let me pull this up real quick just to put this into perspective. So the bottom 20 anglers yesterday caught 38 fish. That's less than 2 fish per angler, right? I mean, 2 fish is not a great day. Would you agree?
Not a great day.
1.8 fish is even worse.
Yeah.
So you're talking like Alton Jones, Brent Ayler, Bobby Lane, James Elam, Adrian Avina, Todd Faircloth, Luke Clausen, Mark Daniels Jr., Jeff Sprague, Jacob Porosnik, Justin Lucas. If you're to be like, let's put all those 10 on Lake Eufaula and only 38 fish were caught, Brian Thrift caught more fish than the bottom 11 combined in the standings. Like, if you're like, do you want Brian Thrift or these 11 guys, and Thrift is going to stop catching them after the second period? Like, you would probably take but no, that's how dialed Thrift is in this tournament, and it's kind of setting up to his absolute wheelhouse. The other thing before we get in, there are a lot of questions. Obviously, Greg Hackney not fishing in it. He's down back on the Elite Series practicing, but Porosnik is. So he's in it, fishing in Redcrest. And then a 7-pounder was the biggest, but there's only one 7-pounder yesterday, and that's a lake that's got a lot of upper 6, low 7. So it's not easy except for a couple of the guys out there, and it seems based on watching them that they're fishing a lot of history.
The thinking part is that it will get better as the week progresses, mainly because of the warming trend that is going to be taking place on Lake Eufaula. Makes sense?
Yes. That it will get better as it goes. And remember, this is a 5-day event with the full field then getting cut to 20, split into 10 one day, 10 the next day, and then the final 10 on the final day. So
5, actually.
5.
Yeah.
It's only 5 on the final day?
Yeah.
I thought it was 5 from each group with 10 on the final day.
Might be.
I don't know.
We'll ask Joe.
Good thing we have Joe on. He would know. He literally sent us a text that said, hey, do you have any questions? And we're like, no, we got it.
Well, I mean, questions are always going to come.
I thought it was 10, and then they take 5, and go to the top, and then 10 on the final day.
That might be
Shake your head, Joe, if that's correct. That's correct.
Okay, we got it.
Okay.
I knew 5 was in there somehow, some way.
But $300,000. Would you? Okay, let me ask you this, Mark.
Yeah.
So remember, Redcrest is a championship event, right?
Yes.
The last time there was a championship event, I'm just throwing this out there, guys. Okay. This is the closest we've gotten to a get in the airplane, open up the envelope, and say, hey, we're going to Lake Mead for a championship. But think about it. It's always been 6 months out, a year out, whatever. Here, they threw them 2 curveballs. One with the weather and one with they were just like, let's just go someplace different than Grand. Which, thankfully, because Grand's still frozen solid, right?
Yeah. It's still an ice rink.
But literally, you had guys down in Texas, and it was like, oh, we're going where? They're opening the envelope in the plane. Now, I gave a massive advantage to some guys who had been down there a lot or lived closer around to there. But agreed, though?
Yeah. Yeah, that is an interesting take on that.
I mean, it's usually a year out, 10 months out, 8 months out. Regardless of how it happened, it was just like, boom, here it is.
There was an email that I got from a viewer. I'm trying to get it queued up. We're gonna watch this, and then we'll go to break and come back with Joe. Hang on, I got to go through the commercials.
I thought that looked like a shake weight. You're not playing a shake weight commercial.
No, hang on. All right, let's see. We're not going to have...
Oh, yeah, this is about how they release fish and release the trout in Utah, and they're worried about people
I got that
dropping
queued up.
fish 3 feet in.
I'll show it after we have Joe on.
Yeah.
It was very, very interesting and very cool how they did that. Yeah. And the survival rate was like 99.9%. Mm-hmm. Very interesting. So I appreciate it for the viewer sending me that video link. And I'll cue that up during the last half of the show there. All right, what else, Matthew? Did I cover everything? I think I had all my giveaways and notes taken care of there.
I think we're good. We got I think we have 2 events that are going on this week with the Elite Series and the Redcrest. It'll be drastically different on the final day than they were during practice and the opening day. Would you not agree?
Yeah, probably so.
Great transition time. Really cold water. Really good for red bait sales.
You're right. It's that way every year, man. Flying off the shelves.
You think you know about crankbaits and spinnerbaits, and then you watch this, and you're like, ooh, what's that? I haven't seen that one. That's a different color red.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing. All right, we're going to take a break. Come back with Joe. Everybody stay tuned on a Tuesday.
Fishing system starts with Lowrance HDS Live. The best fish finding tools, from chirp sonar and fish reveal to active imaging and new active target live sonar, and complete touchscreen control from your trolling motor to your big motor. For a limited time, building the ultimate fishing system will be easier on your wallet. Upgrade to HDS Live with a Ghost trolling motor, active target sonar, or live site sonar, and save up to $800.
Basscat's legendary 20-foot platform has been paired with angler-approved accessories for 2021. Puma FTD features the proven hull used by many of the top names in bass fishing today, backed by a transferable lifetime warranty. The Puma FTD boasts a full team deck concept which enhances efficiency for you and your tournament partners. Turnkey tournament-winning performance. The Puma FTD SP from Basscat.
Big companies get bigger and bigger and talk about their fancy labs where they study fish behavior. But then they all go golfing on the weekend. We don't have a large laboratory to test baits. Why, you ask? We don't need a big laboratory because our pros fish, our employees fish, our salespeople fish, our suppliers fish, our mold builders fish, our owners fish, and our kids fish. This is our laboratory. Our R&D comes from time on the water, learning how to make fish bite. All that time on the water brings us thousands of hours of testing new products and improving current ones for all species.
All of us on the Pro Tournament Trail use Gamakatsu hooks.
Why?
Because they are absolutely the best.
It's not about how many bites you get.
It's how many you put in the boat.
Gamakatsu makes hooks for every fishing style.
We didn't come this far to lose fish.
Did you?
For more information, visit gamakatsu.com.
The Ned Rig. What rod should I be using with the Ned Rig? My favorite is the Denali Lithium multi-spin rod. It's our 7'4" length, great Ned Rig rod. It's got a great sensitive tip on it. It's long enough where I can make long casts, which you're usually fishing clear water with a Ned Rig, and it's got enough backbone to get those fish in. So check it out, Denali Lithium Series 7'4" multi-spin.
Let's face it, fishing electronics are no longer an afterthought. They've become a necessity. And at the Bass Take, our experts match you with the right electronics, provide professional installation, and educate you to help maximize your catching results while providing support along the way. Because let's be honest, it's about catching, not just fishing. And when you're ready for better results, join the Bass Tank team. Visit us today on Facebook or go to thebasstank.com.
You've been waiting all week for this, and Sunline wants to make sure you're ready for it with bulk spools of all your favorite fishing lines.
That's so fun.
Bulk up with Sunline.
Pro-inspired, pro-designed. Tested and proven by legends on the water. Dominating the tournament trail for over 50 years. Everything you need, one legendary brand. Strike King.
Hey guys, Major League Fishing Pro Jacob Wheeler here with my new Signature Series line of rods with Duck It Fishing. We have my 7.2 cranking rod right here. Crankbaits can be very fickle, and having the right, having a lot of tip can be too much, and having not enough tip can, lose a lot of fish. So you really got to be careful. If there's one or two techniques that I'm really adamant about having the perfect action is a crankbait, especially like the square bill, a DT6, those medium running crankbaits in the springtime when those fish's mouth are pretty tough. That's when I'm really on top of having my actions just perfect.
Utilizing my experience, utilizing my time on the water, evolving as an angler, and that evolution should never stop. You have to do it every day. From when you wake up in the morning, you got to be thinking about continually changing every minute, every cast. That's really the premise of fishing the moment.
Hey everyone, Brandon Polnick here. People always be asking me what I got tied on. And I'm like, X-Zone lures. And they're like, Brandon, why you got X-Zone lures tied on? And I'm like, let me show you why.
The bite.
Get out of there. Get out of there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's freaking digging. Get in here. Oh, God. Giant. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh.
I think you get the point.
All right, we are back on a Tuesday, kicking off the week. Mark and Matt in studio. It is time to go to our special guest. All kinds of stuff taking place down in Eufaula, Alabama. Let's bring in our good friend, Joe. How you doing?
Doing great, guys. How are you?
Glad to be in studio. Dude, the high today in Oklahoma, 70 degrees.
Nice. That's what it is here at beautiful Lake Eufaula as well, 70. Love it.
It was minus 14 a week ago.
What a difference a week has been. Across the entire country, but especially here in MLF land, no doubt.
Yeah, obviously some adversity that you guys had to go through, but the ability to be able to pull it off. Obviously, having an event there in the past and the relationship that you guys have with the community there. It seems like it's been flawless so far.
Yeah, absolutely. It couldn't have gone better for us, quite frankly. 1 week ago, we were in a very different situation. We were making plans to head to Texas and kind of wondering how all of that was going to work out with, everything that was happening there with the weather-related issues that they were dealing with, and just figuring out how we're going to get everybody there safely. And, just 1 week later, here we are. We're on day 2. We had a great day 1, and it truly is a credit to the hosts here. The Eufaula Chamber of Commerce, Ann Sparks and her team have done an amazing job since we called them on Thursday and got all this put together like that. So it's been unreal. It's been a whirlwind. Like Matt said, it's been exciting, and we're just pumped that we're making it happen this week.
Joe, it's got to be kind of a weird feeling for both the staff and the anglers. You know, you've been in the media position and working for organizations covering a lot of Forest Wood Cups and championship events where you have black tie dinners. They're in 5 or 6 days and award ceremonies and massive schedules for these guys. And now it's like, hey, show up one night, you get a day of practice, and the next without any of that. There's no arenas with country stars singing like you're used to. Just kind of explain what the vibe is. Is there still a championship vibe? Is it like just a kind of we're going to go to work on this and know that a lot of people are going to watch the TV product from this? Or what's the vibe for a $300,000 championship Redcrest, considering that all the obstacles and hurdles you guys had to cross to get here?
Sure. Well, it's definitely different. It has a different feel, no doubt. But there's definitely still a buzz here, among the staff and anglers. Someone's getting $300,000 this in 3 days on Friday, and we're about to crown our champion for the entire season. So still a lot of buzz, still a lot of excitement. It is very different, with just being the COVID time. Like, I don't want to say, we almost got lucky that it was kind of COVID time because we were able to shift things. Because, if we were still up in Tulsa and doing the expo and having everything going on, there's no way we could have shifted this event, so quickly. And then it would have been, plan D, plan E, and trying to figure out what the heck we're going to do. So we almost got lucky a little bit. But that being said, we're happy that we're holding the event. There's still a buzz, and, someone's still going to be crowned champ at the end of the week. So, we're just thrilled that we're making it happen, honestly.
I will say, if you had not changed it from grand, it would have been the first championship won on a Swedish pimple.
Hey,
do you know what that is, Mark?
No, I have
you know what that is, Joe.
North. Absolutely.
That's an ice fishing lure.
Okay. I had no idea.
And a wax worm, a waxy.
Yeah. All right, Joe, I want to answer this question right off the bat. Several people have asked. A couple of guys, Greg Hackney and who was the other guy?
Atkins.
Yeah.
Sure.
They were they or were they not given an invitation to fish?
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody that qualified for this event received invitations. Obviously, Porosnik is still here fishing the event. There was just some conflictions with the Elite Series schedule and some overlap as far as they had the choice, and they declined their invitation. So we moved down the list and filled the field up and made sure we had 40 guys on the water this week. And that's what's happening.
Very nice. I watched a little bit of the live stream yesterday, and it seems like that you guys definitely have it dialed in. I don't think people truly understand, be it you guys, be it any organization, to try and pull off the magnitude of live streaming on the water, especially when you have the adversity added in of changing the location site, making sure that there's cellular coverage in certain locations. It's been quite the challenge. Can you tell the people really kind of some behind the stuff that they may not know about and how difficult it is to pull this off?
Oh, absolutely. When 1 week ago at this time, when we were kind of scrambling to figure out and determine, what our plan was going to be, we did everything we could to stay in Lake Palestine, but unfortunately it just wasn't happening. And it had nothing to do with the actual overall weather. I mean, it wouldn't have been the most fun tournament for the anglers, but I still would have caught fish. It would have been fun. It would have been a great story as far as, being one of the coldest events in history and everything. So that would have been a lot of fun. But it was truthfully, we couldn't roll into town when the community was suffering as it was and use their resources. We couldn't stay in their hotel rooms that were badly needed by people that were displaced with no electricity. We wouldn't have been able to go to the Walmart and buy a case of water for the anglers or the staff or anybody, because that's needed by people that are suffering at the moment. So we kind of had to scramble and figure out what the plan was. Now, there was different options. We looked at possibly rescheduling at a later date, but in doing that, we didn't have an open date that would have worked until July. So now we're pushing our event back to July, and then we don't even know where we would be able to go. And so there were all sorts of issues behind the scenes. So then we started looking at alternate locations. Well, when we do that, now we've got a magnitude of factors. Does it have good cellular coverage so we can run a live stream?
Yeah.
Is the fishing going to be good? Is it going to be a great tournament? So luckily, our site director, Michael Malone, has these relationships with these chambers across the country. He got on the phone literally Wednesday night and started calling around to some of the places that we had been recently and was like, is there any chance? And Lake Eufaula answered the phone, and everything kind of fell into place. It was crazy how quickly it happened.
Wow. Yeah.
One of the things that I've noticed this year, and this kind of falls into your realm as well, is it seems like your Toyota series has had like crazy good numbers compared to last year. Like you kind of looked at last year and we're like, man, 60, 70 boats in some of these things, and you kind of reconfigured some of the events. But I know there's been some rescheduled events in that. But man, you're seeing like 200 plus in a lot of your Toyota series events this year as well too.
Yeah, it's been a great start to the year, no doubt. Toyota Series is doing well. BFLs as well are doing fantastic. Numbers are up there as well. So it's been a great start to the season, and we expect it to continue kind of as the restrictions around the company loosen a little bit and people are getting back out a little more and wanting to get out competing. We expect them to continue to rise and expect to have a very good year.
So did you guys in this event then, you got 40 anglers here, and obviously a lot of their families want to come to this. Do you guys put all them up, or are they required to like figure out where they're staying in Eufaula, like spur of the moment on a day, or like how did that go for the anglers? Because I know that would stress me out, being like, oh my gosh, 3 days and I got to find a new place. Or is that something that since it's a championship event, it's like, hey, everyone's staying here?
No, so that was one of the reasons we had to move out of Palestine as well. Is so many anglers, kind of had places around the lake, rented B&Bs and hotels and stuff, and they were getting phone calls like, sorry, we're not going to be able to rent to you guys this week. We don't have power and the pipes are frozen. And so it was like guys had no place to go, honestly. So when we talked to the Eufaula Chamber, that was one of the deals was like, do you guys have enough hotel rooms for everybody? Because, in addition to the 40 anglers, we've got just as many staff on site here running the event that need to get. So basically they just kind of piecemealed it together. They left Lake Point State Park here. We basically left that off limits to the staff, and that's only the anglers were allowed to. They got the first crack at it basically, and they kind of piecemealed different hotels around the area for staff. Like myself and a few others are staying at the Hampton Inn. There's a few at the Comfort Inn, and some are at the Holiday Inn, and we're kind of just scattered all around, getting in wherever we could fit in, pretty much. And most of the anglers are staying here at Lake Eufaula State Park.
And then the other question, and I've seen people say, oh well. There had to be talk about this, but explain if you can or no. So you obviously have to know where the venue is. So there has to be a call that says, hey, Lake Eufaula, oh, it's on. How is that information then disseminated to the 40 anglers that are competing in this? And when did they first hear about it? And like what steps are taken to ensure like, oh, it might be Lake Eufaula, and then you get a couple guys who hear about it and then they get a jump on it. You see what I'm saying there as far as like, what is the information highway as far as letting everybody know, hey, we're going to Lake Eufaula?
Sure. So Wednesday last week, we realized we have to come up with a contingency plan. We're not going to be able to go to Palestine this week. So there were different options in place. We considered pushing it back a week. But in doing so, that would have created a confliction with our College Fishing National Championship, which is happening next week and is being filmed for television. So like we only have so many production staff and cameras and crews that can film things. So there was an issue there. Sorry, I lost my train of thought here.
Basically, what I was saying was, at some point, you guys have to know. Is it a valid question, Mark? Yeah. You have to know that you're going to Lake Eufaula. How do you make sure that all 40 guys find out that you're going to Lake Eufaula, not 6 or 7 hours before one guy finds out they're going to Lake Eufaula, and it just is a level playing field?
Was it a Zoom call? Was it a text? What was it?
So that's where I was at. So Wednesday, we realized we had to make a decision. We sent a text immediately to the anglers and said, wherever you are, stay put. We're running through all options. We'll have a decision for you tomorrow at noon. Thursday at noon, we made the call and decided, okay, by this point, we're heading to Lake Eufaula. Then we had an all-angler Zoom call that day, like 2 hours later, 2 o'clock. all angler Zoom call, all guys were on. And then literally as soon as that call was over, we sent the press release announcing to the public. So there was literally about a 2-hour gap between the anglers finding out and the decision being made.
Wow.
So I don't believe it leaked to any of the anglers. I guess there is a possibility, but at most they would have had a 2-hour advantage. And so that's how all that worked out.
All right, and then immediately off limits as soon as it was.
That's a tight window, man.
Yeah, well, that's what I was wondering. Was it like, Eufaula might be on the table as a backup as this was lead? You know what I mean, Mark?
Yeah, I'm just glad.
Started with FLW in 2011, and this was by far the craziest week I've ever been a part of. As far as
that's got to be nuts. And then, like you said, you've got the college national championship covered next week and all sorts of stuff on top of it. But heck, you got them out there fishing right now.
I'm just glad you didn't go to Florida. Nothing against Florida. I'm just kind of burned out on Florida. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of hearing about Florida.
It would have been fun, but as Alabama's great and the weather's great here, and it really worked out well for us. The good news is we've got, a 12-month lead-in for next year. We know exactly where we're going. We know the dates. We know everything. So
it's grand, right?
Prepare for next year, no doubt.
Grand.
Yeah. Grand Lake also. We're returning.
Yeah.
Hopefully the greatest snowstorm.
Oh, see here, Jeffrey, as he's already hoping for a twice in a century snowstorm. Jeffries would be in a parka on the ramp going, I told you so. I told you so.
Yeah, back before everything kind of happened at Palestine, I was excited for it. Matter of fact, I had a conversation with Mark, and I was like, this is going to be, the ice bowl of bass fishing, whether it's, I think it was Super Bowl II where the Packers played in that crazy cold game.
Against the Cowboys.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like historically known, still talked about to this day. Like maybe this Redcrest could have been that, looking back. But either way, it's going to be a crazy story down the road, no doubt.
So we got the whole field fishing the first 2 days, which is why you're seeing some guys that are just like kind of hanging out right now because they're in.
Which is why I'm talking to you and not a
right. But what you got? So there is no like, hey, you win the round, you get to the finals like there was in the regular BPT events.
No, not this time.
Okay, so that's why you see guys Thrift and Ott and stuff that are like just hanging out,
chilling, looking.
But so top 20 ended today, and then it split, and then you have 20 anglers left.
Yep.
And they're split into groups of 10.
Correct.
And 10 fish one day and 10 fish the next day, and the top 5 out of each of those then goes 10 to the final. Are the weights zeroed for the final as well too?
Yep.
So there's 2 0 weights. So they all zero after today, then they all zero after the round of 10. Well, yeah, they'd have to because they're fishing on different days. And then the top 10 all go in 0 weight, 1 day, $300,000.
Shootout on Friday. Someone's winning $300,000.
I mean, that's kind of exciting, isn't it, Mark?
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
A 10-way tie for $300,000.
The dash for cash, right there, $300,000. Yeah,
and it's going to be a completely different tournament than it was, even yesterday. Like it's warm here, and it's changing by the hour. And so by the end of the week, guys are going to be catching them shallow, and you get on the right thing. Somebody way deep down in the pack that sneaks in could absolutely win this thing, no doubt.
I mean, they could, but like we said, Brian Thrift.
Brian Thrift, yeah.
It's part of the Brian Thrift 401k plan right there.
Yeah. So it's an interesting lake because there's a number of guys with vast history on it.
Yeah. Well, here's the other thing, too. In watching some of the action, the water clarity, it's kind of muddy in some of the areas that the guys were fishing in.
Yeah, but it's also Lake Eufaula. Like that's
I get it.
The bass like that.
But a lot of people out there have very little confidence in catching bass in dirty water in the early spring when the water temperature is cold.
You can catch them in cold water, you can catch them in dirty water, but you can't catch them in cold and dirty water.
Yeah.
That's the same. Well,
they're going to get a lesson this week in how to do that.
The fans, the people watching it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because, well, obviously, if you're in the top 40 of this, you figured out. You've cracked that cold, muddy water code.
It was interesting, some of Ott's comments about he thinks that, you got to get on that spot where they're really grouped up offshore. They're offshore, staged up, getting ready to move up. So we will see if that's going to come to fruition.
I mean, listen to this. This is the leader now. Brian Thrift, very familiar with Andy Montgomery, very familiar with this situation. Ott Defo thrives in this early muddy water situation.
Yeah.
Zach Burge, I mean, the dude's grown up in Oklahoma fishing February, March, and April events on it. Stephen Browning, think he knows a little bit about the water that they're facing, Mark?
Yeah.
Brent Chapman, and then here's the interesting one. And it's amazing we could go a whole show in a championship event with 40 guys. KVD's in 7th.
Right. Quiet.
And what has KVD heard whispers of the last couple of years?
Yeah.
I think he would love nothing more. He's doing a show now. He's got his YouTube channel. He's doing all the social media. I think KVD would be... how do we not talked about him yet? He's in 7th. It looks like he's going to be there.
Yeah.
And the closer he gets to it, do you not think he would like a Redcrest trophy?
He's got all the others, so yeah, absolutely.
Is that a fair point, Joe?
Could not agree more. Absolutely. He's a name that I've been quietly mentioning all week, just, to my colleagues. Like, well, watch out for Kevin. Another guy catching him today is Wheeler. He's putting something together as well. He's coming up the leaderboard, and you know how he goes.
He only had 2 fish and 9 pounds yesterday.
Yeah.
He's got 17 right now, and he's going up the leaderboard. So,
yeah. I would like to see that KVD run. I think a lot of people out there would like to see that run.
Is it not kind of setting up for him?
It is. It is. And people are going to see the versatility of Kevin. I think a lot of the younger generation, they may not even know who the dude is.
I wouldn't go that.
Hang on. From a perspective of what he has done over his career. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, yeah, I could see a group of anglers, especially with all the Favorite and Guggen and that crowd with all the anglers that follow the BPT and stuff because of that, Connell, Mark Daniels Jr., Wheeler group, that Kevin to them is kind of like Rick Clunn when I got into it.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't there for the heyday of Rick Clunn, but I've sat around with some of the older media guys who were like, I remember when Rick and this, and we all just sat there and went, it was unbelievable. Yeah. And now I'm sitting here with the new generation of media guys who are in their young 20s and be like, well, I remember in 2009 and 10 and 11 and Kevin, and we'd show up to a tournament and he'd finish 8th and we'd be like, what's wrong with Kevin? Yeah. And they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah, it was stupid. He'd show up and it just was a given he'd be in the top 10 and that he'd win the Angler of the Year, and it was never even a race.
Hey, one of the most epic runs in the history of bass fishing was his crankbait run, when everything was all sexy shad.
Like, I think
a lot of the young guys don't know that.
Yeah.
They seriously don't
Grand
know
Lake.
That situation.
That Kevin and Davey Height.
Yeah.
When they named it. I mean, the emoji that drives me nuts now is there's a ton of guys who are less than 35 years old in this sport, which is, if you talk to Ken Duke, the prime is 35 to 45, 48, right? Yeah. And they get the dang goat emoji. Everyone's putting the dang goat emoji on them. And it's like, dude, you're not old enough to have the goat emoji. There's like 3 or 4 guys that you can throw the goat emoji on.
Yeah. Hey, do you know who Max Kellerman is, Joe?
Yeah, absolutely.
The dude on ESPN. Do you know Matt?
I'm a big boxing
yeah, 100%.
Yeah. All right. On his show the other day, he did the top 6 goats in the history of sports.
Let's see.
In other words, he took like basketball and football.
Did he do boxing?
He did boxing.
Ali.
Muhammad Ali.
Michael Jordan.
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
Tiger Woods.
Who else?
What are we missing?
Kevin Van Dam.
Well, that's where we're going.
No,
but
it was not on there.
What was
not on there. What was baseball? I don't remember. But you know what he did have on here? And people are going to give me all kinds
bowling?
of... He had bowling on there. He had Jason Belmonte.
Oh, really?
Yes. Which I found very, very
controversial.
Interesting. Yeah, because he has changed the game with the whole 2-hand thing and all that and everything. But I thought, how cool would it have been if he would have had fishing on that list and had his selection? And I know they have met.
Well, he's still with
I know that Kevin and Max have met. So it's unfortunate that fishing didn't get on that list. But
anyway, this whole just started with, hey, Kevin Van Dam's in contention in a championship, and we know what he's done in a championship. And the last time we said something's up with Kevin, he won 3 in a row. So
yeah, we'll see. All right, good stuff. All right, everybody can check that out, and we will have on Monday. We are going to shoot to have the winner on BTL. Correct, Joe?
Yeah, I'm going to do my best, and as long as they're available, depending on whoever wins, I'm going to make it happen for you guys.
What's their schedule after this? Is they got a couple weeks off, or I know there's a group of guys that will be fishing the pro circuit event on Smith Lake the second week of March, but the next BPT event following this?
The third week in March. And then, as you also mentioned, the Toyota Series is doing well. Lots of these guys are fishing that as well, so I'm sure a couple will be running up back over to I think Table Rock is the next one. Honestly, they're kind of hard to follow, but
because
much
going on,
but there's
much going on.
Week, but
and
you could tell. I mean, they usually have like the whole setup in the background and stuff for all the MLF events. You could tell there's no we got the MLF banner. That's good though. We got it good.
It's all good, man. We appreciate you taking time out, Joe, and as always. Really cool to work with you, and you do a great job for the media, man.
Well,
Greatly
thanks,
appreciate
guys
it.
Very much. Looking forward to the watch party tomorrow. I'll be watching.
All right, cool. All right, man. Stay warm.
Sounds good.
All right, see you, Joe.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
See ya. Let's put the cart ahead of the horse for a minute, Mark.
Okay.
Let's hypothetically say this gets down to weights are zeroed.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a scenario that's shaping up. Weights are zeroed. Final day for Redcrest. You're going to have Brian Thrift, Ott Defo, KVD, Andy Morgan, Jacob Wheeler, and Jordan Lee.
Wow.
They're all in the top 20 right now.
Wow. That's big time.
Who are you riding in that? And there's going to be 5 others that can obviously win. I'm just
picking, or
hypothetically.
Who do I want to see do well?
No, who are you picking? And both. Hypothetically, like I said, hypothetically, Jordan Lee, Jacob Wheeler, Andy Morgan, Kevin Van Dam, Ott Defo, and Brian Thrift. They're all in it right now. There's like all of them except Jordan Lee's down there in 20th, but he just probably hasn't started trying yet.
Yeah, I'm picking Ott to win. He would be my...
Over Thrift?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because of the weights being dropped.
Okay.
All right. In a tight one with Thrift finishing second.
Is that because in the little bit that we watched today, Ott Defo declared that he's not fishing today?
No, it's based upon knowledge and
he's
experience.
Practicing his trolling.
I wonder how long these batteries will last.
He's going to be drawing Etch-a-Sketch shapes on his graph. His trolling motor.
Oh, no. That's who I would pick.
Where's your heartstring? Sentimental
would be KVD. Just because
how did KVD become a sentimental pick, Mark?
Because he's from that era that I believe as I continue and the older guys continue to mature, I think that he is not recognized by the younger group how significant that his efforts were. You know, I saw a comment on the instant feedback. You know, people are saying tight lines, KVD who? Are you kidding me? You know, his brand has not lost value. Absolutely not. 100%.
Guaranteed you have 1.5s in your tackle box.
Now, his marketability has not declined either. But his recognition with a group of younger anglers is not really present from a historical standpoint. In other words, I think the younger anglers truly do not realize how dominant that the initials were in the past. Mm-hmm. And I think he's still got it. I mean, heck, I said it, you know, as he gets older and, you know, there was a period of time there that he put a lot of time in with his kids and family was extremely important. In a certain stage of his career. Not that it wasn't important all the time. I'm just saying there was a lot more time being placed in stuff that he had going on with his family than what he had going on tour. And I think the sentimental value, is because, I mean, I was going to say I was in the trenches there when he was going through that.
And the cool thing is, if he is in this, and I don't know how he's fishing this event or what he's doing, but there's a good chance that he's either power cranking or throwing a spinnerbait. Would you not agree?
Yeah.
Which are
I'm
KVD
just reading
strong suits,
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Two sides to every story.
We'll see what happens to from a tackle standpoint, whoever wins this thing. That's what I'm interested in seeing. You made a great point. You got 1.5s in there. All right, you tell me one person that doesn't have something that is sexy shad in their tackle.
Mm-hmm. And Edwin's in 23rd.
Yeah. I mean, geez, KVD irrelevant. Are you kidding me? Jeez. I'm not going to get upset on that one. I just he's very, very relevant. And you're living in a fantasy world if you think that he is not relevant. If he wasn't relevant, why is he still one of the highest paid guys out there on tour from an endorsement standpoint?
He's still relevant on the Elite Series. He holds every dang record over there.
It's not an ancient thing or an antique thing or a blast from the past or whatever you want to say. He is more.
He's still in his. He's like pretty much in his prime.
I know.
It's not like the guy's got one foot in the grave. How can you make
that statement?
I mean, look,
KVD is irrelevant.
He's still.
How can you make that statement?
In his freaking prime.
Jeez. I mean, he just hasn't went on a run like he did through that. Through that.
I think it's going to be really hard to beat Thrift.
No, I'm not going to disagree with that.
I think it'd be really hard to beat Thrift and Wheeler. You're going to earn it on you, Fall. So I wasn't trying to stir the pot with that question. But was that not a relevant question that I brought up about the timeline between Eufaula being solidified and the anglers being notified?
Yeah.
Because what do guys live in here? A lot of guys live in the gray area. Would you not agree? There's guys who live in the gray area.
A lot of guys.
Yeah. And if they can take advantage of something in that gray area, like if you know where a lake is before it's off limits, it's not illegal.
Yeah.
For 2 hours in there. I'm not saying anything happened. I was just hypothesizing. You also have to remember when you're seeing, how do these guys find these offshore spots and all this because they only had 1 day of practice and they didn't know and they weren't pre-practicing out here. Dude, they came in pre-practice, put in a lot of time and stuff for the last time they were here. Yeah. And a lot of guys have fished this lake for 20 years. And fished a lot of different tournaments at a lot of different levels.
Dude, I'm sorry. I got to ask you one more question about this thing. This has really irritated me.
Is it the KVD thing?
Yeah. All right. If KVD wins this, is he more relevant?
He's the same level of relevance.
So that must mean that he is relevant right now.
I never said he wasn't.
Okay.
Did I ever say he wasn't?
No, you didn't. Because he is.
We got 6 people on the instant feedback that say he's irrelevant.
Are you guys out of your mind? I mean, geez. He is not irrelevant.
I think he's going to win the dang thing.
Jeez.
I think he's going to win the dang thing.
We'll see. I hope he does.
If Thrift doesn't show up on the final day. But here's the other thing. It's also that round of 10 is kind of a crapshoot.
It is in a little.
Because the way that they get seated in that, you could end up in a group where like 3 or 4 guys get on a heater and you catch them pretty good and you're in trouble. And then you could be in the other group where 3 or 4 guys are struggling and it's easy to get in there. So it's kind of a crapshoot.
Yeah. All right.
With the weight zeroing and zeroing and zeroing, I think you've got to give it to the guys who have the most familiarity with the fishery. Do you not?
Definitely the advantage.
Yeah, which is Thrift and Wheeler.
Yeah.
And I mean, Kevin, that's the home of Hummingbird, isn't it?
Yes.
And
he's spent
that's what I'm saying. Like KVD knows it's not a rookie on Eufaula.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Watch KVD switch to saltwater like Bill Dance.
Out of all the things I'm stressed out about right now, KVD's legacy is not one of them. Just throw that out there.
Let's kind of wrap up the show, dude. Are you doing okay? All right, you're leaving tomorrow, hopefully.
I mean, how honest do we want to get here, Mark?
Well, let's just say there's some adversity that you're having to overcome, having gone through a couple of things that you haven't
Let me
went
say
through.
this.
When you go with
so
the boat wrap,
here's what I've gotten all done. Let me say
that.
this. So Puma is epic. I honestly, I have nerded out in just the 3 hours that I've had it like in my possession where it hasn't been somewhere. I've just like sat in the driver's seat and smiled. I ended up going to a place called Alpha Graphics, which is the first year I've had a boat wrap, which I'll do more on that and why and all that. But this guy like squeezed me in, Brandon, and he doesn't bass fish. Hates bass fishing. Said he'd rather do anything in the world than bass fish. Doesn't understand it.
But he likes wrapping boats.
Yeah, he done Zach Burgess boat and stuff. So he got me and did a awesome job on the wrap. I ended up going to his house. This guy's super interesting. So he's done wraps for like 10 years. I ended up going to his house. He's like, oh, those are my horses. And he's like, I knew nothing about horses 10 years ago, but I had some property, so I got a rescue horse. And then I started watching YouTube videos on how to break horses. So then he started breaking horses, and then he was like, I like leather work. Let's start making my own saddles. So now he makes his own saddles for them, and he does all sorts of crazy stuff, but did a fantastic job on the wrap. It's super sharp. Wrap, awesome. Bass tank, electronics, that got done in a day, awesome. I got 800 different stick baits and stuff in June bug color from Big Bite. Awesome. Got the rod. Everything's good to go.
Yep.
The powering of the vessel has once again, let me see how I say this. So there's no, I haven't had any time because of the ice storm and because of getting the boat and then the electronics and then wrapping it and everything. So I run by S&D and Scott Dennis, who is great over there. Isn't that where you took your vessel to get it all taken care of and stuff? And I said, hey, I just want to make sure before I break this in. He's like, yeah, come on. He checked the lower gear, everything, and they were. So when a guy who has seen hundreds of motors says I've never seen this before, that's not a good sign.
Well,
and so.
They're working on it.
So if there's one thing I could say about what is located behind the boat that makes the boat move, it is teaching me over the past year and a half, that thing behind the boat has taught me how to deal with massive levels of anxiety, stress, adversity, planning, and replanning. And when it works, it's the greatest thing on earth. I really hope that after the show, I haven't gotten a call yet, it's working. So that's what I've been dealing with.
All right.
Best case scenario.
Other than that, everything is just dialed in. Rods and reels are dialed in. Everything is dialed in. Tackle's dialed in.
Yeah, if it was a trolling motor only tournament, I'd be golden. I absolutely, and I say this, I love the motor. It's awesome. Like, it's phenomenal when you turn it on, and the fuel efficiency and the top end speed and the whole shot and the way that it works with the Bass Cat. It's a badass.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to my buddies, like, well, I've got 500 hours on mine, and I've had 4 of them, and I'm like, that must be nice.
Yeah, I got one with 20 hours on it. Sitting right out here,
Can you sense the angst? But it's something that everybody goes through, right? So if you have anybody that's fishing at any level that has done it, like, everybody's gone through the adversity.
Yeah.
Whether it's, anything.
No, you're right.
So
you're right.
And like I said, first world problems. There's a lot of bigger problems in the world, but right now it's that. So,
well, hopefully Scott will get it taken care of.
I think it's just something tiny.
Well, you got enough connections in the world. Figure it out.
See, I'm nervous because when I'm nervous, I do that with the pen.
Yeah, you've been doing it the whole show.
I have?
Yeah.
Why didn't you say something?
I
also broke the end off of the pen. Which is what I do, and you have specifically told me not to do that. It's like you wear a pocket. What do you need that for, though? What is the purpose of that now? I've never seen you wear a pocket protector.
It's the structure of the pen. It's just the balance and
the
structure
whole
of the pen.
point for this is for a pocket protector.
I'm not a pocket guy.
Would you not agree that the only purpose for the pen, the only purpose is to place in a breast pocket so it is easily accessible?
I don't think I have a pen that has one of those on there.
Would you not agree that's the purpose of it?
It's the balance of the pen. It's just...
What, are you writing a soliloquy over there?
A what?
I think it's the word is soliloquy.
You are a little stressed out, man. I really think things are going to work out for you.
No, I do too.
It's all going to be good, man.
I do too. And Brad will be a very calming influence.
Yes, he will be. Because
if we both have a meltdown,
spun out.
Oh, Brad gets spun out. I've seen Brad get spun out.
Not like you, though.
No, yeah. When we were practicing for the U.S. Open in 2018, there was a school of smallmouth in practice that was following his boat, the shade of his boat line. This is practice, mind you. And I wasn't paying attention, and I was all keyed up and excited because we're on Lake Mead, and I'm catching smallmouth. And I'm catching him under the boat, and he's like, oh, you got that drop. So he goes and gets his drop shot, and he gets it caught in the trolling motor. And then he has to re-rig it. And I catch like 2, and I'm like, get back down there, get back. Oh, look at all of them. Oh, you can see it when they're coming up. And I didn't realize this, but this whole time, Brad is trying to retie his drop shot. And I'm just in his ear about how amazing it is and how you can see them all. And he eventually just dropped his rod and just said, I need a timeout. You could hear him probably in Colville Bay, and we were about 40 miles from Colville, and then he was totally golden.
Some people are like that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hopefully that situation gets worked out. So the plan right now, folks, once again, please send me an email, mark@bassone.com. Be a part of 2 watch parties this week. One, the Redcrest tomorrow with Dean Rojas, and then Friday is the Elite Series watch party with Frank Scalish. And
you got a full schedule. What's with all the... I mean, dude, you just decided to go 7 days a week, like almost over the past month.
Well, it's the way things worked out, and I am trying to continue the momentum that we have and give the fans what they want. That's what I'm trying to do. All right,
so this is my last time in studio.
For a while.
In studio. So it's halfway through the second day. Your winner of Redcrest is?
Ott.
I'm
taking Ott.
And I'm going KVD.
All right. And that's who I want to see win, is KVD. So, Brian Thrift, a very, very close second. Very close second.
This is going to be a shootout, isn't it?
And it's going to be pretty cool, man. All the hate and disgust and everything that people have out there for whatever reason, the final day is going to be extremely entertaining.
I will say, if they had not had the fluid ability that they had, there would not be a Redcrest right now.
Yeah.
So the only reason you're able to watch the live stream is because of the mobility that MLF has become known for and their ability to adapt and change.
That it is.
So that's why you get fishing for the next 5 days.
Joe made a great point. It would have been an absolute disaster if things would have taken place at Grand Lake and the expo and everything else.
And it's also cool that they didn't move it on top of the college and that they're filming the college and they're going to get notoriety and publicity for that next week. So.
All right. Big week here on BTL, though. Many thanks to all the fans and greatly appreciate all the feedback that I got from the Marshall thing.
Yeah, awesome.
And we got those 2 people, gave those away, and looking forward to having them on the show very soon.
Pre-game rituals, pre-game meal. What's the plan to get ready for tonight's playoff game? It's all the marbles tonight, Mark. You asked me about my tournament rituals.
Honestly,
what are your pre-game rituals?
I do the same thing. I've done the same thing for home games. Tonight is a home game.
Okay.
All right. I eat 2 oranges.
2 oranges. A lot of citrus.
Yeah, and a celery stick.
Simultaneously?
No. That's
bite of orange celery stick.
That is
bite of orange celery stick.
No. I'll eat one of the oranges, and then I'll eat 2 celery sticks, and then I'll eat another orange. That's it.
What's in the?
That's my pregame meal. Raw celery.
What's in the truck? What's playing in the truck on the way to the game?
Probably Rage Against the Machine.
You giving a pregame speech?
No? Dude, they know what we need to do.
Is that your pregame speech? You just walk in and say, hey, you guys know what you need to do.
Yeah.
If I have to give you a speech at this point of the season, it's not worth anything.
Yeah, I mean, we're dialed in. It's just a matter of whether or not we can execute. Offense is dialed in. Defense is really, really good. We'll see. They're kids, man. They're high school kids. You never know.
Yeah, but you've molded them into mature, good decision-making adults like you did with me, right?
Yeah. Oranges and celery. How about that for a pregame meal?
It's like a palate cleanser.
It's good stuff, man. It's good for you, too. All right, folks, send me those emails. Mark@basson.com. Watch party tomorrow with Dean Rojas. And looking forward to having him on. And then the remainder of the week with Frank Scalish. So good stuff to come here on BTL. Matthew, best of luck to you. We'll check in with you. Obviously, hopefully we'll do the breakfast show on Thursday, and then we'll check in with you next week during practice. Good stuff.
Sounds good. Good to be back in studio, Mark.
All right, man. Everybody, be safe. That's it. We're out of here.